The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host. You can hear my shows Monday through Friday all over the great state of Alabama from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN in Huntsville, from 10 until 11 on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham and on News Radio 1440 in Montgomery, and then from 3 until 4 on the UMP in Huntsville. With me, as always, Mecca Music. She is the CEO of 256today.com. Smart news for smart people and an incredibly kind person on top of that. We got a lot to talk.
I am incredibly kind.
I don't know why anyone would think that I meant anything by that, but when we got a lot to get into here. Matt Murphy will be with us in a bit. He's a talk show host. We'll talk with him. And I got a party shot about Auburn basketball and Bruce Pearl that we'll talk about here in just a bit. But for right now, let's go ahead and get to the 2-minute warning. All right, so the debate is back on. Why? I don't know. But it is back on. They are going to have this debate, and they're both going to complain about it. One of the things that apparently is still up in the air is whether or not there will be a mics on situation all the time, as opposed to shutting them off when they're not talking. Them being shut off benefited Donald Trump last time. Kamala Harris now wants them on. Donald Trump wants extra debates. Kamala Harris does not. I think this all boils down to Kamala Harris having a bunch of shirts that are already made that say, "I'm speaking," and she wants to be able to interrupt by saying just that in the most Karen-esque way possible. Mecca?
I'm not sure if I agree with your complete
I'm speaking, thank you.
On this situation. Why are you like this?
Why
are you like this?
That's a catchphase that they're trying to get in.
Okay.
There. She did it to Pence. They're trying to do it now.
Man,
I'm speaking. Go ahead.
I can't stand you. Can I speak now?
Yes, you may speak.
Okay. So there is speculation. Obviously, the Harris campaign they want Trump to jump in. They want to use that. They think it's good for them. And Trump personally said that he's in favor of the mics being unmuted, which I find interesting.
But he wants to go by the old rules. Who knows what he actually wants?
Right, and his campaign obviously does not want him to do that.
That's what the Harris campaign says. He's being overruled by his handlers, and it's like, can you really say that when you refuse to go outside without your emotional support vice presidential candidate? I mean, can you really come out and say those things?
So I think, though, once this debate gets underway, and it happens, this is just the beginning of the debate about debates. Like you said, are there going to be more?
No.
Are they going to be in front of an audience?
No.
What channel? Things like that. I think this is just the beginning of the debates. Debates.
I'm fine with that. I think they should do 1,000 debates.
I would love. You know how I feel about this. Everybody needs to be doing debates,
and they need to have debates without moderators. They should stand up and talk to each other. I would love to have that kind of
Really?
stuff going. Yeah, absolutely. Put them in the middle of a wrestling ring. Let them talk to each other with microphones.
I don't know about all that.
Cut promos on each other. I'm fine with this. That would be perfect. But look, we don't need to have these moderators. Just let them have conversations. Never going to happen. This is a scripted world of politics.
Wait, you mean this debate's not going to happen?
No, this is going to happen.
Okay.
It's like the scenario I envision.
Yes, no, that'll never happen.
Never going to happen. But I mean, Kamala Harris is obviously very worried about putting herself in situations that are unscripted, and again, that's a strategy they're deploying. Mm-hmm. I don't like that strategy, but I'm sure it's best for them. And I wish Donald Trump would take more of that strategy, personally. But at the same time, let's just be honest about what's happening here. They don't want to talk policy, ever. Instead, what they want to do is they want to have conversations about how cool Kamala Harris is. Tim Walz the other day went on a show and was like, when I think about homeownership, I think about gutters, because you can tell a lot from a man about his gutters. It's like, dude, you don't even own a house. What are you talking about? It's like,
I know we're going way long on this topic, but hold on, just one more thing. Is the honeymoon over, though? Because what about that article? Joy is not a strategy?
The honeymoon is over. The honeymoon is over. I know that's, but I still think if she's not up by 5 or 6 points, she's going to lose. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what's going to happen. She's going to lose the Electoral College. All right, moving on. Let's get to it. Municipal elections here in the great state of Alabama. There are only a couple. And there's really only one that matters to me. Now, there were some tax issues going on as well. And I'm going to summarize that for you as quick as I possibly can. If your schools are already good, people will allow you to raise taxes. Period. That's it. If your schools aren't great, don't even ask them, because the answer is always going to be no. So that's basically the way I would summarize that. And then there was a
You're
race.
talking about Trustville and Fultondale.
Yes, those are the two issues there. I'll let you weigh on that before I move on. Go ahead.
The property tax initiative they did not pass.
Yeah.
Though pretty solidly no on that.
Yeah, unless your schools are awesome. I mean, the only ones I can think of that have done it recently, Huntsville had a little spurt where their schools didn't suck for a little bit, and they raised taxes there. Madison has raised taxes a couple times since
because the schools are so
because the
great.
schools are good. Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly right.
You want to support, the winning
but
horse.
they got to already be good. You're not going to be able to make the argument, give us money and we'll be better. That just doesn't work for people, and I think that's where a lot of these things are.
You might have a point.
Yeah,
you might have a point.
I'm right, 100% right. I'm speaking. Let's continue on with this, though. Just listen, the results here, also in Huntsville, Devin Keith made it into a runoff. Now, he's going to lose. He was 21 votes away from losing the whole thing. But Devin Keith, for those who don't know, pilfered multiple Walmarts in his district and with a skip scanning scheme at Walmart, where he decided he was not going to pay for everything. And then when he pleads guilty, he goes out and says, well, they dropped some of these charges because, there was no evidence. And then the attorney came behind him and was like, no, they had all the evidence. This was just part of the deal. No consequences for this guy so far. He's about to feel those consequences, and he deserves it. If the city of Huntsville sends this guy back to City Hall, they get everything they deserve on their fast track to Birmingham. That's my takeaway on it.
Okay, I have a little bit of a different take on the municipal elections.
Sorry.
Topic here, and also Councilman Keith. He is the incumbent, but he was arrested for shoplifting.
Yeah,
I just want that a little more clear. But what is so important about this in these municipal elections is literally every vote does count.
Nobody shows up.
Well, and not only that, when I make this argument all the time about local news being involved, what is happening at City Hall, County Commission, State Legislature, that affects your daily lives more than, well, in some ways.
I've been hosting local talk radio and television for a long time, and I can tell you this right now. Nobody gives a crap about anything that happens locally.
That's not true. That's not true because you can make an impact. You can make an impact at this level.
Watch the local news and you will see car crashes and then 10 seconds about whatever happened at
Well,
City Hall.
then, smart news for smart people, 256today.com, we're less on the car crashes and more on the news.
I'm not being critical of that, by the way. You want people to watch it. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm telling you, that's what people want.
But like you said, there was 20 vote difference, and there would be no runoff if Michelle Watkins had gotten 20 more votes. That's how close it is in a lot of these elections.
Devin Keith needs to lose. I mean, that's about it. Let's move on and talk about Space Command here for a second. There was an interesting article at YellowHammerNews.com about Will Ainsworth. He was speaking to a group, and he made some pretty interesting comments, including that if Donald Trump were to win, Space Command could come back to Huntsville. Now, one of the things that I found very interesting about the Space Command when we lost it is there was a lot of, this isn't political, this isn't political, this isn't political. And then it was, Tommy Tuberville made you lose this. It was going to be Mo Brooks who made us lose it before that. And then before that, Jeff Sessions was going to make us lose stuff. But now it's Tommy Tuberville that made us lose that stuff. And we're hearing now that if Trump gets into office, it could potentially be coming back. That's one of the assertions that was made by Will Ainsworth and have been made by others. That tells me, Mecca, it was political.
It was political.
I thought it was from the beginning.
I'm still salty about this. I'm still salty about this.
The reason I say it like that.
So it was political because Huntsville was on the top of every recommendation and every list. Right now, the Space Command, it's not even in the military. It's 7 miles away on leased land because it won't fit at the military base there.
Yeah, but they go Democrat.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. What I love about this is we've got this disconnect between, depending on what day you're telling the story in the mainstream media.
I know.
No, listen, just hear me out. On what day you're telling it, if it's the day you want to say it's a good move, then it's not political. If Tuberville says something that they think is dumb, then it's his fault. And I'm just trying to figure out which one of it actually is. I know it's
none
the
of
political
those narratives
one.
are correct.
It's political. It's 100% political, and they use Tommy Tuberville as someone to blame. You had one of the generals or whatever these space cadet people are called. You had one of these guys. It's actually the Air Force. I just wanted to say that. But the simple fact is, they were standing up and they were like, well, members of the military's families won't be able to have abortions and they won't want to come here. And it's like, nobody thinks like that. That's not how real human beings behave. So, of course, it was all political. Is it coming back?
If Trump is elected, I would say that's highly likely.
I don't think it ever does.
Really?
I don't think it ever does.
Well, here's the other thing.
Moving it back and forth ain't going to happen every 2 years.
It's not that they're moving it back and forth. They can't even run the full scope of operations
You're correct. You're also wrong. Okay? I'm just going to tell you. You're correct about it, but you're also wrong. And I just, to be completely honest about the whole situation, we talked, I think, off the air about whether or not they would change the name of military bases back. But they can change them every 2 yeyears, 4 years? No, they're not going to do that. Once the decision, I think about hard time doing it once it's actually moved. All right. Last thing here, let's talk about this $500 million. Have you ever heard that schools don't have enough money? Have you ever heard that? Because they have about, I don't know, less than a month to spend about $500 million here in the state of Alabama. And the state education department is so well run that they pissed away $20 million instead of using it. And now they're wondering if maybe we're not doing things the way we're supposed to. These are the same people that demand more money for your local schools in the form of taxes, think that school choice is going to destroy all your schools, and are freaking out about whether or not they can have certain books in their libraries. Meanwhile, all that money is just fluttering away. Also, the COVID stuff we did, absolutely insane. Look at all this money laying around, and we caused all these inflationary issues.
And that's what this money is
We're
talking.
all over the place, yes.
Right, but this is the same money basically,
Yes.
but for schools.
Yes.
And it's
Here, have this money. And what do we do with it? I don't know. Spend it. That's
well, I feel like you should be happy about it then, that they're not spending it.
No, because that's not fiscal responsibility. That's just incompetence. I mean, there's a different. If there were people like Eric Mackey, the state superintendent, is quoted at AL.com saying something along the lines of, well, we're a fiscally conservative state. I'm like, come on, man. Who are you trying to sell that to? Like, in this form, who are you trying to sell it to? What you mean is, who did I hire? How could they not spend $500 million? How did we not know this was a thing?
So this money is just going back then?
Yeah, it's going back to the federal government. And then they'll probably send it out somewhere else and spend it elsewhere. I mean, that's just how it's going to work. But this is happening all over the place. The bigger story here on this, to me, well, it's an Alabama story. It's also the national story.
Yeah.
They had no plan in Washington, D.C. They were like, well, how big of a thing can we pass? And they said, okay, make it $11 trillion. And they said, okay, so how much here, how much here, how much here, how much here? And that's all they did. There was no good reason for this. It's why you're building prisons with COVID funds and all these other things.
No. Okay, you're going too far. There were some good programs enacted. I mean, it's especially with the.
Are you building prisons with COVID funds?
No.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. In Alabama, we are building prisons with COVID
I'm
funds.
talking about a lot of the school money.
Sure.
It did support, a lot of remote learning, which was
allocation of-
necessary.
Here's what they did.
Go ahead.
They took a
You're
dump
speaking.
truck and they dumped it on the states and they said, do whatever you want with this. And that was the stupid thing to do because that did not help with the pandemic at all. It had nothing to do with it. Nor did the 6 feet and everything else. They screwed everything up. All right, we went way long in this. We're going to have to go way short in the next one, but that's okay. Matt Murphy will be with us, WTN, so stay tuned for that. Mecca Music is here. I'm Dale Jackson. It's Alabama Politics This Week.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
Call 877-744-0750. That's 877-744-0750. 877-744-0750.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics. This week, I'm Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca Music. And our guest this week is Matt Murphy with WTN in Nashville, but he's been on 3 of the 5 radio stations that this program airs on every single weekend. So let's bring Matt on the program with us. Matt, real quick, I want to ask you this. We were discussing whether or not the honeymoon is over for Kamala Harris. I think we all kind of agree that yes, it is, but she still gains significantly from it. But if she's not up 3-4 points, I think she's going to have a hard time winning this. Is there more for her to go up here? Is the honeymoon over?
Well, I mean, I guess there's a way that she could appeal to some undecided voters and raise her profile to a certain degree. But it's an interesting dynamic. Typically, as you well know, Dale, as Mecca knows, you come out of a convention with a bounce. She received a no bounce because she got all of the bounce before the convention. I've compared it to encountering a group of starving people on a life raft, and you throw them a bunch of bread. The Democrats were starving with Joe Biden as their candidate. They knew they had a losing proposition in front of them. And when they were given anyone, of course, they're going to see a bounce out of that. And people naturally predisposed to vote for Democrats were going to vote or support Kamala Harris. They didn't see that coming out of the convention because it already was baked into the cake. Now she has to actually present certain policy proposals that would be appealing to the American people, most directly appealing to those swing states and those swing voters. But in doing that, she contradicts herself. She is debating literally Kamala Harris from 4 years ago or 5 years ago. So I don't know how you thread that needle. You have to have a supportive media to do it. So that's a long way of saying I don't think she gets any more than she already has unless something dramatic happens and Donald Trump steps his foot in a bucket, which Donald Trump perhaps could do.
So, Matt, do you think we're going to see a change in strategy from the Democratic campaign as far as, you know, they haven't gone into the details? The speech you mentioned, the joy is not a strategy. We mentioned that earlier. Are we going to see significant change going forward?
The strategy that Barack Obama employed in 2008, I think, is very telling here because Barack Obama talked about hope and change. He promised this nebulous, wispy, non-concrete thing that anyone could attach any emotional thing to that they wanted. In other words, hope and change means exactly what the receiver wants it to mean. Kamala Harris is going to do that moving forward because a lot of the same people that advised Barack Obama in 2008 are now advising Kamala Harris. She does not want to get direct with the American people about any policy position because she either has to admit that her policy positions are kind of off the radar for most Americans, or she has to contradict herself. And then she has to deal with the flip-flop accusations. So what I've said is instead of hope and change, it is change and hope, meaning change your position on just about every issue, whether it's fracking, border security, Medicare for all, whatever, and hope that nobody notices.
It's interesting. You're right.
That's good.
It's interesting to watch as we see this all the time. It was all with Doug Jones. We're seeing it here. No, guys. You think they're Democrats, but they're really moderates. They got Republican positions, and don't worry about it. I know you guys, they're going to tell you they're left-wing boogeyman socialists, and then they get in office and they're like, I was a Democrat all along. I mean, what's the problem here? Does that work on undecideds? Are they listening to Kamala Harris say, I'm for the border wall? Not that she's saying it, but her mouthpieces in the media say it and go, oh, good, okay, I can go with her.
No, I think most mainstream American media recognize that Kamala Harris is not what she's going to present herself as over the next 2 months. But they hate Donald Trump so much, and they want to get her elected so much because she's transformational and all of these words that we've heard used about her, that they're going to forgive her of all of those things. I don't think that many Democrat political figures have the courage of core convictions, and so because they don't, they are willing to change their position on any issue if it is opportunistic for them to do so. And I think that many Democrat voters are willing to look the other way. I think they said the quiet part out loud. I believe it was a group of black Democrats who said, hey, we've got 70 days to act right and then we can go crazy. And this was an off-the-cuff remark in the midst of the Democrat National Convention, but I think it's very telling. We've got to mind our manners and say what is necessary to get elected so that we have the power and control to do these crazy socialist things that we really want to do.
Now, Matt, let me shift focus a little bit to the upcoming debate. Dell and I were having our own debate that he thinks it's going to be one and done. I mean, there's the hot mic issue that's still being played out. Stop. And he did that to me a lot, by the way. And but I think, that this is just going to be the debate about, more debates and things like that. Do you think it's just going to be one and done and this will be it?
Kamala Harris would not debate Donald Trump at all if she thought there was a way for her to win without doing so. So, yes, the answer to your question is there will be no more debates. There will be one debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. She will not agree to any other debate. And there will be one debate between Tim Walz and J.D. Vance. No one will agree to any additional debates. Donald Trump will say, I will debate you anywhere and everywhere. They'll pretend, the Harris people will pretend that they want to do it. They will also pretend that they just simply don't have the time. And they'll say, Mecca, the American people know where we are. We're talking to the American people every single day, Mecca. Don't you get it? We're out there and we're speaking to them on the campaign trail. That's what we really need to be doing. We don't need to be arguing with Donald Trump. I'm speaking.
You're right. A couple of interesting things that I want to ask you about. Space Command comes up a lot here in Alabama, obviously, where it should have been. Obviously, you're in Tennessee dealing with some other stuff, but I wanted to ask you this. Military bases around the country have had their names changed. They moved Space Command. Those are all political things. Does the next president change them back? And then in 8 years, when you get a Democratic president, do they change them back and move it again?
Those are two separate questions.
I understand.
Do Space Command
I'm trying to be concise for time here, and I'm speaking. And I'm trying to give Matt a broader question here. Can we have all these issues that are very political in nature, like flip-flop them back and forth, the names of military bases and locations of different commands?
Yeah, I don't see how you can continue doing that once you start getting concrete in the ground, right? I mean, when you start building facilities that would house these various headquarters, then you've changed the nature of the conversation at that point. And I don't pretend to know where we are in that process. I don't know if they've, brick and mortar has been established.
They have not.
Well, Matt, it's actually on leased land that's not even part of the military base.
I would expect that the next president of the United States of America, this is my answer to your question. I believe the next president of the United States of America is going to decide where Space Command is.
Okay.
Period.
I think that's a fair way to look at it. Last question here. You're a sports guy, but you're a Georgia guy living in Tennessee. I'm a Florida guy living in Alabama. Mecca somehow adapted Alabama after being from Texas. I don't understand how that works. But
it's a long story. We'll do it next week.
Bruce Pearl has gotten in a little bit of heat because he has dared to have some conservative views. I call him the bravest man in sports today. Will that cost him recruits, and will Georgia use it to recruit against him?
I do not believe that it will cost him recruits because I do not believe that young people pay that much attention to political viewpoints of their coaches. They want winners. As long as Bruce Pearl continues to win at Auburn, he'll continue to recruit well at Auburn. When he stops winning, he'll stop recruiting. There will be others that try to use it against him, though.
Okay, there we go. Matt Murphy, thank you very much.
It was so great talking to you, Matt.
He's a talk radio host, WTN in Nashville. Thank you so much for that. Mecca's leaving, so I'll finally be able to speak unencumbered. Stay tuned. It's Alabama Politics This Week.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improve range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom, Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
What if you could make a free phone call and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Right now, you could be paying as high as 20% interest. Your new interest rate could be reduced to as low as 2.48%. You can refinance any existing car loan or leased car and save money every month. Take 5 minutes of your time right now. Make this free phone call and learn how to save hundreds of dollars a year by refinancing your existing car loan.
Here's an important message from the U.S. Med Diabetes Solution Center. If you have diabetes, you know the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce your pain right away. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. Call the U.S. Med Diabetes Solution Center to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. If you have Medicare or private insurance, call to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. U.S. Med is the #1 rated supplier on Google and Facebook reviews. So call us right now to see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no cost. U.S. Med. Better service. Better care.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. Thank you very much for being here. We're about to get to a parting shot. I want to talk about Auburn's Bruce Pearl here in just a second. But before I do, head on over to yellowhammernews.com and sign up for my email blast, the 7 things you should be talking about today. It's where everyone else gets their news from. So just go there, sign up, yellowhammernews.com. Read it. You'll get it there every single morning, Monday through Friday. Right now, though, let's go ahead and get to that parting shot. My parting shot this week is directed at all the critics of Bruce Pearl, specifically Joseph Goodman at AL.com. He wrote a column this week that said, what is the point of Bruce Pearl's tweets, or what's the end game? And I thought the same thing, like, what was the end game of Joseph Goodman's tweet when he told people who were criticizing him to run out in traffic and die? I don't know what the end game there for him was, but I think the end game here for Bruce Pearl is to voice his opinion. Now, you had Steph Curry at the DNC. You had Steve Kerr at the DNC speaking. And yes, people complained about it, but they're morons for complaining about this. They're Americans. They have a right to say what they want to say and then let the chips fall where they may. There are people that want recruits to leave Auburn. There are people that want Bruce Pearl fired. And those people are morons. He is voicing his opinion. The end game is voicing his opinion. He's passionate on these things. Whether it's Israel or politics or anything else, Bruce Pearl is allowed to voice his opinion, and he should. Because if Bruce Pearl was saying, go Kamala Harris, that article never would have been written. Why? Well, because Joseph Goodman's a schmuck. I mean, that's as simple as it is. But he should be allowed to be a schmuck as loud as he wants to be. And that's completely okay. That's how it works. He's not special because he works for a low-rent newspaper. I'm not special because I have a TV show and a radio shows and all these other things. No, we're all human beings and we should all be able to voice our opinions. Stop complaining. Stop whining about that kind of stuff and just prove the person wrong. It's very simple like I just did. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching and listening all over the state of Alabama to Alabama Politics This Week. We'll be back next week.